Hey, what is going on? Welcome into the ASOR Red live podcast. This is the basketball edition. My name is Nick Kirby. I'm joined by the Reverend Will Matthews. This show is presented, as always, by Jason Porter Real Estate, covering all of your residential and commercial real estate needs in the Lynchburg area. You've seen Jason on the football show. He is the absolute number one guy in the Lynchburg area, one of the good guys in the biz, and a big Liberty Flames fan. On tonight's show, we've got Kyle Rode and Anthony Smith scheduled to join us tonight. We are really excited about that. That will be a lot of fun. And if you haven't yet, make sure you go onto the Sea of Red YouTube page, subscribe to the channel. Helps grow the Sea of Red brand and provide more content for all things Liberty. So subscribe on YouTube, hit that like button as well, smash that like button, and that helps us out a lot as we continue to hopefully grow the show. Will, how are we feeling tonight, my man?
Yo, not the greatest weekend for Liberty fans across America. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But I'm like the old nature boy once said, styling and profiling and ready to go tonight.
Yeah. So obviously not the greatest start to the season for Liberty. They did win the game against Regent as expected, but Alabama, it really just kind of the wheels fell off in the second half. Will.
Yeah, my I was seeing on my Twitter a lot of folks, maybe like a little bit of the sky's falling a little bit, but I mean, number 20 in the nation, Alabama's really good, way more athletic, longer, stronger than we were. And, the first half, I was feeling pretty good about it. I was feeling like we might chip away at that lead at halftime and kind of get back into it. That didn't happen that way.
Yeah, it was, like you said, Will, Alabama is a really, really, really good basketball team. They played a really good game. Um, it was disappointing, I think, to see a little bit of the defense. It just was not at all up to the standards. And I think watching the post game with Coach McKay, I think he was kind of shell shocked at how poorly their defense competed. The biggest the best takeaway for me was Colin Porter. He had 0 turnovers in 26 minutes. That was undeniably Liberty's biggest need coming into the season. I think he has absolutely showed that he looks like he belongs at this level. He looks like he can control the game. I don't think we've seen anywhere close yet to the offensive firepower that he has, but he was 2 for 2 for 3 in that game. So he's been highly efficient. What have you thought about Colin Porter so far, Will?
He's looked really good. I mean, it looks like maybe maybe a key piece that maybe the team has kind of lagged a little bit with just a really pure ball handler. Looks like a guy that can score, make his own shot, which is really good. It's with Regent first and then Alabama. It's still kind of really hard to tell, what this team exactly looks like. I think going into this week and then going into some of those tournaments that we have like around Thanksgiving, it'll start to kind of round out and kind of to see what it looks like.
Yeah, that's a perfect segue, Will. Looking at this week, 2 games that the Flames are going to be highly favored in, NC Central and Southern Miss. Now, both of those teams have had pretty impressive wins so far.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe not as gimme of a game as we thought coming to the end of the season. Both of those teams, their KenPom ranking dropped, I think, like 20 plus points since the start of the season. Will, do you feel like this is a really big week for Liberty, especially with you're staring down Northwestern and Auburn potentially, or even a tough Bradley team in the Thanksgiving tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I think these games are more winnable, but I mean, I think it's still going to take a really big effort. I mean, Central is pretty good. I mean, they talk about having some good wins for both of those teams. They've also, I don't know if there's a such thing as a good loss, but Central lost by 12 at UVA, and then lost by 5 at App State. And they're a really good 3-point shooting team. And so that's just going to be another test for that pack line.
Yeah, that loss was in overtime, that second game.
Mm-hmm.
And then Southern Miss won at Vanderbilt by 12 points.
Yeah. We've done that too, but yeah, I mean, that's, and Vanderbilt is, bottom of the SEC probably. I don't think they're going to be that great that year, but that's still a big win to go into an SEC court opponent and beat them on their court.
Yeah. Two games that I think that Liberty should be able to take advantage of. But again, they're not as gimme games as we may have thought coming into the year. I think there'll be some good tests, and definitely excited to see the guys come back tomorrow, back home, and hopefully they can really right the ship. Real quick, we have Kyle Road about to come on here in just a minute. Wanted to take a look at the ASUN so far. Which has been crazy impressive here in the first week of the season. Florida Gulf Coast has jumped up 50 points or 50 ranking spots since the start of the season. They had a dominating win at USC. Stetson won at Florida State. Bellarmine won at Louisville. Kennesaw State only lost by 10 at Florida in a game they were predicted to lose by 20. Will, what have you thought about this the start to the season for the ASUN?
Yeah, I mean, when these games started coming on and we started seeing some of the ASUN teams playing well, we were thinking, okay, let Liberty get in there and beat Alabama, and let's see what's going on. I'm interested to see Jacksonville State and Alabama play coming up. So I'm kind of interested to see how Jacksonville State approaches Alabama, how they look. Poor Stetson, I mean, beat Florida State, and they're still at 277. Nick, tell us a little bit about how, with KenPom, you are the expert, you are the PhD in KenPom. Tell us about how are they measured as far as where they start at in the rankings, what goes into that, and then how they move up.
Okay, so I don't know every detail of everything that goes into the rankings, but they're all preseason ranks based on recruiting rankings, and then basically what you've done previously, and then your returning players and all that kind of stuff. Where sometimes it has a gap, and I think Kim Pomeroy himself would tell you this, would be like with transfers, which is probably why Florida Gulf Coast was so far down. Yeah. So right now you're seeing this. How is Liberty 86th? They're 1-1. The game against Regent does not count at all in the rankings because KenPom does not include non-D1 games. But what it does is it slowly trickles off the rankings every day into January. And then at some point in mid-January, the rankings are actually this season only. So it's kind of a way that to, not have these like crazy rankings where Florida Gulf Coast is the number one team in the country right now because they, just won by 10 points at USC. But still kind of have a good system to kind of see where teams are at, and it's good for the betting markets and things like that. But you'll kind of see them trickle down as we get closer towards the new year, and then at some point in like mid-January they'll be true to form. All right, enough nerd talk. Let's go ahead and bring on our guy Kyle Road. Kyle, what's going on tonight?
How's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, wanted to ask you about the home opener against Regent. Felt like the atmosphere at Liberty Arena, at least on TV, was really, really good for a non-D1 team. What did you feel about in that game?
Yeah, no, I think that's the expectations kind of our Flames Nation has set. Like we try to bring a crowd every game, and I think they even said it was a top 5 attendance game we've ever had there. So it was awesome to see. It's pretty cool. COVID's now kind of in the back burner, it seems like, and people are really trying to get out and get to games. So it was awesome, and it was electric.
Yeah, Kyle, it was exciting to watch you guys play against Regent. I was really looking forward to that game to just kind of see how the new guys played, and I'm just always interested in that. And, we know that you guys, had some scrimmages in the off season, Georgetown, Virginia Tech, but this one against Regent was the first one that kind of counted. How are you feeling about the team's chemistry on the court after 2 games, kind of compared to when you guys first started practicing together in the off season?
Yeah, 100%. I think you kind of get a taste of just how guys fit in. You know what I mean? When you're playing somebody different, like in practice, there's always 10 guys on the court because we're always playing against each other pretty much. And then you get into a game, and it's an environment where only 5 players play for Liberty. So it's been great. We have such a selfless group, and I think we have a lot of pieces that fit in well with one another. And Coach McKay probably has one of the hardest jobs finding minutes and doing combinations and things like that. But he always does a great job of facilitating that. And I feel like we're a program where it's like, at the end of the day, we have a bunch of guys that want to win the game. So whatever role that is on any given night can look different. And we got a bunch of guys that stay ready.
So kind of obviously the Alabama game didn't, go the way that you guys wanted to. You guys were really competitive in the first half, only down 9 points at halftime, and that was with Darius McGee spending a lot of the time on the bench in foul trouble, and then Colin Porter as well. What just maybe went wrong in the second half now that you've had some time to, digest some of the game film and stuff like that? What do you think really went sideways for you guys?
Yeah, I think any time kind of over my career that we've been here, it's like when you play in those big kind of Power 5 games, the margin of error just shrinks, right? That's kind of the overwhelming factors. Like that margin of error is small, and so like you said, I had to kind of little without Darius and Colin there in the first half, kind of had to manage. Okay, let's keep this thing under 10 if we can, and try to even just keep it as close as we can. So it felt like we did a really good job of that. And then in the second half, like you said, just kind of got away from us a little bit. And it was honestly just 4 or 5 possessions where maybe we didn't get the best shots we wanted, and everything went right for them. And then you blinked, and it was 20 points. So it was one of those games, man. It was great for us to learn from. And I love our team, and I know that might be weird after getting beat 35 or whatever it was, but at the same time, I like our guys, and came with the same approach yesterday to practice and today, and I'm super excited for tomorrow.
Yeah, Alabama seemed to really just swarm Darius on defense. I don't, I'm an uneducated fan watching the game. I don't know if I ever remember a team that I thought did as good of a job just making his life miserable out there the minutes he played. Did you kind of feel the same way? Did you feel that maybe their defense on him was just really exceptional?
Yeah, I think they did a great job, obviously, in their prep, and I think it just shows the respect like Darius has. Like you have an SEC school that guards him like he's a superstar, and I think that's super cool to have guys on your team like him, and us guys around him can do a better job of using that to our advantage too. You know what I mean? And it was great to see that, and credit to them. They did a great job, and next time we'll be prepared and ready for it.
Do you feel like that kind of gave you guys a gauge a little bit this season, kind of maybe what you're up against with what teams are going to try to throw at you defensively, and maybe a little bit better idea kind of going forward of ways to hopefully, turn the advantage back in Liberty's favor when teams are that aggressive against him?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's even funny you mentioned that too. Like I remember my freshman year, Darius was a sophomore on that 30 and 14, and we go to Stetson and they box him on Darius even with all those guys, and Darius was the one they boxed him on. So it's nothing we haven't seen before, if that makes sense. And they're obviously their length and athleticism is great for that kind of game plan too. So it was great for us to see, especially second game of the season, and like you said, be prepared for it because teams are definitely going to try to replicate it. And yeah, it was great.
Let's talk about the 2 positives that I really saw from the game. The first one was, I think the most obvious one, was Colin Porter. 0 turnovers in 26 minutes, 2 for 2 for 3. How have you felt about Colin Porter just jumping right in and kind of, I feel like, taking the point guard position and really making it his?
Yeah, 100%. I think since the day CP's got on campus, he's had just kind of that confident point guard like demeanor when he steps on the court, and it's super calming to play with. To know you have a guy that is going to make the right plays, the right reads, and not to put pressure on him like that, but he's what we needed. You know what I mean, at that point guard spot, and he's been great. He's a Kentucky guy, so I love that guy, and yeah, he's been awesome, and that was definitely a highlight, especially in that environment. It's probably hard to hear over the TV, but they brought it. They Friday night in Tuscaloosa, and he responded.
The other positive that really saw is Joseph Van Zandt. He's already hit 2 threes this year. Last season in Division I games, I'm not sure if he hit any in non-D1 games, but only hit 3 all year. Is he a guy that is one of those guys that you see in practice that can really hit the 3 ball, but just hasn't shown it yet? That maybe there's a lot more that we can expect this year with maybe his ability to knock down some perimeter shots and open up the offense for you?
Yeah, I think anytime JV gets a room and rhythm look for 3, like I think it's going in, and I think our whole team does. He's done a great job, testament to his work that he's been putting in since he's gotten here, and honestly, I think that's tough too, because for a guy like him, normally to stay on the court, it's to play defense. So the fact that he works on his game outside of his defensive role, and he works on his shooting as much as he does, it's awesome to see, and gives you confidence. Like I think he does a great job repping that, and yeah.
Kyle Bill Powell says he's looking forward to tomorrow night, and so are we. We were just talking before you came on. We were talking about North Carolina Central, and they're looking pretty good this year. And there's probably a lot that you can take away from that Alabama game and that Regent game as you guys go forward. But I'm here, Kyle, to ask the hard questions and not pull any punches. So tomorrow night is Teddy Bear night at the game.
There you go.
And I was wondering who is one person on the team that you would most liken to a teddy bear?
What do you mean liking? Like, what does that mean specifically?
Like maybe you just want to give them a hug. You might want to cuddle with them at night. I don't know.
It clearly would have been a B. It clearly would have been a B last year, right?
That's a super question. Probably my wife, to be honest. Like I'm married. It's so weird. Shoot, that's a weird one, guys. I don't know. I didn't even know Teddy Bear Night was a thing, to be honest. So.
I'm not here to lob softballs, man.
Kyle's gonna call it sick tomorrow night now. Thanks, Will.
No, I'm just kidding.
All right, one last question for you, Kyle. So this week you got 2 games at home: North Carolina Central, Southern Miss. We talked about how they've been really impressive so far this season. Do you kind of feel like, wow, these 2 games are really important before you guys head into a really tough Thanksgiving tournament to really, right the ship and kind of set this season up for success for you guys?
Yeah, 100%. I think tomorrow is just extremely important for us. Like we want to take advantage of every opportunity, especially a home game. Like it's so fun playing in front of our fans, and like you said, having that game on Friday too. You're home for a week, and then before like the season can get crazy pretty quick, and then you go to Cancun, and then so just try to stay in the moment as much as we can, and have a great shoot around tomorrow, and then have a great game tomorrow night, recover, and then on to the next one. But super excited for tomorrow and focused on that one.
All right, sorry, we lied. Will's got one more final question for you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just looking at that schedule. My question was, how tough is it I know this is your job. You play basketball, but how tough is it to focus on basketball? Like when you guys get to go to Cancun, like when do they tell you what the schedule is? Like, are you looking forward to just laying on the beach or, just hanging out at the hotel? Like, does your wife get to go with you? Like, what is that whole experience like when you get to go to Cancun as part of your job?
I think growing up kind of in the AAU world, you learn how to balance it, if that makes sense. So, growing up, my July would look like New York first weekend, come home for a few days, then go to Spartansburg, South Carolina, then fly out to Los Angeles and Vegas for 11 straight. And that was my July, you know what I mean? And then that was for 3 straight years in high school. So at the same time, like, it's a business trip, but like the experience you get with the guys around you is like more, honestly, sometimes like more than what you'll remember than the actual games and what actually happened in those games. So just love building relationships with our guys and going on trips. Like Cancun's not a bad place to go on a trip. And yeah, my wife's actually making that trip, a little Christmas gift for her to get to go. So super excited just to have the experience and get out there and compete.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks so much, Kyle, for your time. Really appreciate it, and we'll look forward to you guys hopefully bouncing back this week with two nice wins. And hey, we got to get you to turn on that awesome light behind you for the next episode.
Yeah, man. It's actually from our wedding. It was one of those picture wall things. So yeah, it lights up like LED. So
we need that on next time. We need that on next time. That's really
might
good.
Might have to. So appreciate you guys having me.
All right, awesome.
Thanks, Kyle.
All right, well, we're gonna have a quick word from our sponsor, Jason Porter, and when we come back, we'll be back with Anthony Smith.
Well, hey everybody, my name is Jason Porter. I'm with Legacy Realty and Development. It's been a great partnership here with Sea of Red lately. I was with Liberty Athletics as the Associate Athletic Director for Sports Medicine, so took care of all of the healthcare needs and coordinated that with a fantastic staff at Liberty in the athletic department, of course, for about 5 or 6 years, and then moved into real estate full time and with Legacy Realty and Development. And it's just been a great pleasure to continue to stay connected with my Liberty University family and the athletics family as well. Been enjoying serving them. A lot of the graduate assistants and some of the staff that I hired has come back now and has been using me for residential services, which I really appreciate. But certainly do residential real estate as far as buying and selling of homes, of course. And then also we have a strong commercial presence as well. So commercial real estate, obviously a very, very different animal than is residential. But whether it's buying and selling commercial properties or just the leasing of properties, we can help with that as well. So it's been a great opportunity to service our commercial clients as well. And then certainly on the investment front too, a number of folks who have discovered the power of passive income through real estate and investing in real estate with rental properties or fix and flips, those kind of things. And so great joy to serve my clients in that capacity as well. The other thing that I would add too is just a very, very full Rolodex at this point of contractors and subs and just different professional contacts that I've made through the years. So if I can ever provide any of those folks to you when all of a sudden you need a plumber or an electrician or a contractor to build your deck, whatever, I'd certainly be glad to give you access to that Rolodex and those references as well. Because a lot of times it's not exactly who you know, it's who you know that knows how to do the job well. And so I would be glad to provide those services for you as well. So love Flames Nation, love taking care of my Liberty family. And if there's ever anything I can do for you, my contact information is all right here on the screen. And I would love to be a service to you and yours. Thanks so much.
All right, we are joined now by Anthony Smith Jr., former Liberty standout. Anthony, I have to start out. So we were freshmen at the same time at Liberty, believe it or not.
Yep.
You had a wild career at Liberty. So year 1 and 2, you're with the high volume shooter, Larry Blair.
Yeah.
Year 3, you lead the team in scoring. And then year 4, this kid named Seth Curry comes in and steals all the shots. Has anyone kind of had a more wild career through 4 years than you on really 4 just different teams?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely 4 different teams. You know, I was under 2 regimes, and the first year, my freshman year, I was actually supposed to redshirt, and then we end up David Dees, a guy that was playing in front of me. He ended up transferring, so I had to play. I was coming off the bench the first 9 games, and then ended up winning the starting role 9 games in. We weren't very good, to be honest. 7 7 games won all year. It was a bad year, but I kind of had to learn by trial and error. I learned a lot from Larry in those first 2 years. So it was nice. It was definitely different. And then I just learned to, I needed to do whatever the team needed, help them to win. I was a little bit more versatile than some of the guys. So especially like the last year when Seth came, I ended up playing like the 4. So I went from a shooting guard to a small forward. And then when Coach McKay, our senior year, we ended up playing small ball. So I was playing the 4. So I just found ways to impact the game and, try to make everybody better. I knew Seth needed more touches as far as, that's what he was going to do for us. He was going to score. So I didn't mind him taking more shots. I still had a great career. I learned a little bit every year, and I learned from a lot of those guys.
Yeah. Anthony, thanks for joining us.
Oh, yeah.
So for any of our, maybe if we have students listening or just recent alumni that maybe haven't been following the program that long, I mean, in my opinion, you're probably on the Mount Rushmore of all-time Liberty players. And if you Google Liberty Flames Anthony Smith, I don't know if you know this, but it comes up only player in the nation during the 2008 season to attempt at least 200 3-point field goals and succeed on at least 50% of his field goal attempts and 40% of his 3-point field goal attempts, one of only 5 players in the nation to accomplish that same feat while attempting at least 100 3-point field goals. The other players were, check this out, Nick, Mario Chalmers from Kansas, Lee Cummard from BYU, Malik Harrison from Oregon, and some guy named James Harden from Arizona State. And that's pretty impressive. Tell us about kind of what your career was like post-Liberty after you graduated and left here.
So post-Liberty, I got a shot in summer league with the Indiana Pacers. So I played in the Orlando Summer League right out of Liberty. I got to play against some good guys there. That's Russell Westbrook's first year, James Harden, all those guys. So played against them in summer league. Right after summer league, I went and had a workout with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And then this is kind of where my career kind of took a turn, because this is when I found out that it was a lot about business and who you know and all this type of stuff. But my first agent, I was in the middle of working out with Oklahoma. I was supposed to be there for like a week. I was there for like 2 days, and he calls me, tells me that I have a tryout for Barcelona, FC Barcelona. Anybody who follows Euro basketball or even soccer knows who FC Barcelona is. So I'm 22. I hear FC Barcelona. All I'm thinking is Euro League, 6-7 figure checks. And he actually steered me wrong. So they had a second team in the second division. And me not knowing any of this and not really having anybody to talk to about it, I end up getting on the plane and leaving Oklahoma and going there early. Didn't turn out the way it kind of was. Money wasn't what I was thinking it was. So from there, my career trajectory I kind of had to work from the bottom to try to get to higher levels. And I did, but it was just like you realize how much one decision can affect your professional career or who your agent is and, things like that. So I kind of had to learn the business, but I still end up having a 10-year career. Yeah. I played in top level leagues. I played for historic teams. I can't complain, but it would definitely could have been a lot easier had I not listened to my first agent. I will say that. But 10 years overseas is nothing to look back and, not be happy about. And so it was fun.
So Anthony, how'd you get hooked back up with Liberty Radio? I know when I saw you on the sideline, I was like, wow, that's so cool that they got you on the radio team. How did that all come about?
So it was kind of a random instance. I was, I'm always around the program, so I'm at practices here and there and working out in the gym all the time. And Alan sends me a text message, or he sends me a Facebook message, and said, Coach, I'm looking for a color analyst. Coach McKay kind of threw your name out there if that's something that you'd be interested in. And right off the back, I told him I would. I've never done anything with the radio. I've never done anything color commentary, but I mean, I know basketball, so I figured, it couldn't be too hard to sit there and talk about it. And being on the radio, I think it's a lot, it was a good start, especially with that, because he does the play-by-play. So he does the talking most of the time, and all I have to do is chime in with a little basketball tidbit. So I thought that would be a good start. And I'm excited to represent Liberty in any fashion. Funny being on the other side of the table, but I really like it. It was the first game was fun to call, and it was kind of trial by error. And I don't think I did too bad, so I can't wait for tomorrow either.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to mute Matt Warner tomorrow and listen to the radio broadcast. Don't tell Matt that. So but yeah, very cool. Yeah, I think it's awesome that you're still involved with the program. Talk to us about your relationship with Richie McKay, who took over your junior year, and how that's helped maybe keep you connected with Liberty. He said he helped maybe get you connected with the radio gig. How did that relationship come to about, and was it like a blessing for you that he came over to Liberty kind of unexpected?
For sure, it was a blessing, because my first 2 years, I was literally ready to transfer every year. My first year after my freshman year, we won 7 games. I was about to go to a JUCO in Dallas, Collin County Community College, which is a powerhouse JUCO. I was going to transfer there. They were trying to get me there because I couldn't take winning 7 games. And then my mom said, stick it out. So I stuck it out. Sophomore year comes around. We do a little better. And then Coach Dutton gets fired. So now there's some unknowns. I don't know who's coming in to coach. I don't know who he's bringing. So I was ready to transfer then. I had a transfer set up to North Texas. And then again, I said, I'm going to wait. I'm going to see who the coach is, and we'll go from there. So he comes in that summer. I remember he came in. It was him. We were playing pickup. It was Coach McKay, Coach Layer, and who was with Coach? It was Coach McKay, Coach Layer, and Coach Seuss. So they come in the gym. These are high level coaches. I heard where they came from. So these are high level coaches coming in from a Mountain West school, and they kind of have that aura about them as they walk in the gym. They watch us play for a little while, and then once we're done, Coach McKay pulls me to the side, and he tells me, going into my junior year, he says, he said, I watched your film. He said, I really think you're going to be an important piece to this program, and I would love to build around you. And he told me that. And after the first couple workouts, I knew I needed to stay here. And it all panned out. Me and Coach McKay got really close over the years. I actually made him the godfather to my children. My daughter's middle name is McKay, Jaden McKay Smith. So, I mean, we grew close. I always talked to him when I was overseas about anything, about life. I knew he genuinely cared about me. So he was definitely a blessing. He taught me a lot. He helped me through the process. And like to this day, it's family. That's why I'm always around. Even when I just recently moved back to Lynchburg, but even when I was staying in Dallas, I would come every summer, come to camps, come to workouts, just his families.
Well, we're glad that you didn't transfer. It would have been rough without you there for some of those years. Man, I think I would like to do like a whole other podcast where we just talk about this stuff and like what happened when with Anthony Smith. Because you were there when me and Kirby were there, and we just have a lot of questions and we want to hear some of those stories. Yeah. Especially some folks that me and Nick went to some of those away games with.
Winthrop. We drove to Winthrop on a Wednesday night.
Winthrop and VMI and
the VMI games were fun.
Yeah. So, you're in this role now with broadcasting. What are you watching film on NC Central, like to prepare for tomorrow night, or how do you go about that?
So they send out these game notes, which I haven't even looked at mine yet, but they send out the game notes, kind of gives you, information about our players, stats, kind of the storyline, which are going to be kind of what you kind of want to cover during the game. And yeah, I do actually go back and watch the game before, just to see their playing style, kind of familiarize myself with the players, see their tendencies, because it makes it a little easier to talk about when you're not just doing it fresh off the head. It's kind of like, it's like preparing for anything. You just want to be on top of it, and I'm a student of the game of basketball. I love basketball, so for me to just sit down and watch a quick game or pick up tendencies is not real hard. So I definitely do that. I did it with Regent, and I'll continue to do that throughout the season.
Before we get to talking about this team, tell us about the hoodie you're wearing, the Kicking It. What is that?
So the kid, I actually sent Chris Strawn, our manager, when I was there for my 4 years. He has a nonprofit organization. He loves sneakers. He loves shoes. He always had the freshest shoes on in college, and he still does now. And
they helped him dance.
This is his and this is his nonprofit organization, Kicking It. So they do a bunch of and it came to Liberty. I don't remember. He had brought Steph to Liberty, probably 4 or 5 years back, and they did a big Kicking It, like a shoe drive to send to Africa, and he does a bunch of things like that. And we're still in touch to this day. I talked to a couple guys that I played with, and I still talk to him. So whenever they have something, I try to support them, and when I got me a Kicking It hoodie.
Awesome. All right, well, let's get into a little bit about this team. Obviously, you were there for the Regent game. What was kind of your overall take on that game, that performance, kind of what you saw in that game?
So what I saw is, I think that this year it'll be a little different. As far as they don't have the outside shooting like they have with Keegan or with Cuff, but I think that getting Colin Porter to the team was a great addition. I like his poise. Even against Alabama, watching that game, he doesn't look like the moment's too big for him. He keeps the same kind of demeanor throughout the game. I really think that he is going to help, and he will be a key piece in a lot of their victories to come. Zach Cleveland, again, another freshman. I was impressed by his motor, and again, moment didn't seem too big. Even things not going great against Alabama, same motor, same demeanor. Those things are important when you're looking at players as far as their growth potential. How are they going to react in adversity, and how are they going to react when things are going good? If they have the same demeanor, it's a good sign. I think the guys, Kyle Rode is, he's Kyle Rode. He's an extension of Coach McKay on the court. His IQ is off the charts. I think that this year they're just going to have to, they'll have a couple more options, not just having to rely on Darius every game to get 30 and 25 and 40 to stay in games. But I like what I see. They execute, still play defense, and we'll see. I think they'll be really tough in the ASON.
So talk to us about that Alabama game. Obviously, it didn't go the way I think anyone wanted or really even expected. I don't think anyone expected it to be that lopsided. Talk to us about what it's like in a game like that where you just really underperform to your standards. What is it like trying to get ready for that next game? And is it like such a long layoff where you just can't wait to get back on the court to maybe right the ship a little bit?
Games like that, you just got to let those go. You didn't play well, definitely below your standard. Even if you lose. But when you play like that, you forget about it. Next game, it doesn't matter. We didn't execute. No need to sit there and beat yourself up about it. It happens. Next game, move on, execute, and continue to move forward. It's just like any play on the court. You don't want to sit there and you turn the ball over and think about it, and then you miss a defense assignment, and then it just starts kind of piling up on you. Let it go. Just move on to the next game. Alabama's a great team. You knew that you had to be on your P's and Q's to stay in the game, and you didn't do that. And now you have another opportunity coming up in a couple of days. Just let it go.
What did you think about the way that Alabama defended Darius? They were really just I don't know, one of the most intense defenses I've seen against him. You know, really able to use their athleticism. Do you think that maybe the intensity is going to be even more, ratchet up a little bit more this year? Or do you think maybe that's something that Liberty can maybe even exploit a little bit?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you don't score 25 points a game and then walk into a game like the other team hasn't specifically planned for you. It's gonna be just like that, probably game in and game out. You know, some teams won't have the athletes that Alabama did, so they won't be able to do what Alabama did. But I think like I said, with the addition of Colin Porter, it kind of takes some of the pressure off of Darius as far as not having to bring the ball up, not having to create a shot every time. I think that teams playing that way will get hurt by the other guys because they're focusing so much on Darius, and he has help, you know. So I think it's gonna open up the court for them, and in turn is gonna open up the court right back for him. And he's a tremendous talent. He's gonna find ways to score. You know, that was just an off game.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, Nick. We saw a little bit of that too with Darius being in foul trouble, pretty early on, but Liberty kind of stayed in it. And, I thought that they had a great chance of kind of chipping away once Darius got back into the game. But, how do you see, do you see anybody in particular kind of stepping up? I mean, I'm looking at the roster and, when we played Regent, or when they played Regent, Zach Cleveland kind of looked like he's going to be like a big energy guy. What do you see out of some of those like freshmen so far?
Yeah, and that's what I see. Like I said, his motor, he has a very high motor. He's a strong kid. What I really, really like is how he attacks the rim. Those plays are momentum changers, and like you said, it brings energy, brings life to the team. You go down the middle of the lane and dunk it on somebody's head, and it gets your team going. And I think probably the last high flyer that Liberty's really had was probably Andrew Smith, and that was probably 4 or 5 years ago. So
you had some great dunks.
Yeah, I'm a little bit older than that though, so I wish it was 4 or 5 years ago. But they, I think that he will grow. He passes the ball well. It looks like he understands the game. So I think he will be, especially as the year goes forward next year and the year after, he's somebody that you could really kind of have anchored down your team. And then with the other guys that are redshirting, I've seen them a little bit. I haven't really seen them in game time action, so I don't know about them. But those two, like I said, they stand out for me. Mm-hmm. And then the other guys, they've proven what they can do. So they just have to stay on that with those new additions. And then Darius, I think they'll be good.
Looking at the upcoming schedule this week, I think to me and Will, we really feel like this is such a important week for Liberty to maybe not just squeak out 2 wins, but to really, I think, play well, especially coming in with a really tough Thanksgiving tournament with Northwestern, and then either Auburn or Bradley, and then even still got a really tough game at Oral Roberts and neutral game with Bryant. Do you kind of feel like this week is such a huge week for Liberty, and obviously it's too early in the season, it's most likely going to come down to the ASON tournament, but do you feel like this is a really big week in terms of their trajectory for the season?
I think it's a good week to get some momentum. You want to win the games that you should win, to build momentum, to be in the games that maybe you're kind of the underdog in. And I think that definitely they need to come out and take these 2 next games and try to make a statement. Make a statement, build some confidence, get back in their groove, and let that momentum carry them towards the tougher games.
All right, and then lastly, looking at like the rest of the ASUN conference, who's maybe a team that really stands out to you? Maybe either from what you've seen or kind of what you've heard, kind of being on the inside, that you're really kind of maybe looking forward to their matchups with Liberty this year, or maybe a dark horse contender or something like that.
Jacksonville State, they were last year. I don't know how many. I haven't studied their team yet this year. I don't know how many returned, but I know they had a couple guys return. They really shot the ball well, and I think that is one thing that hurts the pack line. If you have a good low post presence and not necessarily scoring, a guy that can read the double team, face up, step out, throw the skip pass, because that's where you want to hurt it. So and then shooting around it. I think that Jacksonville State, they shot it well. So, and I know they did all season. I would look forward to them. I don't know how many they return, like I said. And then Bellarmine, they're kind of this year. Their team is a little different than they were last year. I watched them play a little bit against Louisville, and they beat Louisville. Ball movement, their ball movement is pretty crazy, which always gives them a chance to take care of the ball and cut and backdoor. And those are two matchups that I definitely want to see this year for sure. And Austin Peay, I don't know too much about them, new team, so we'll see how that goes.
They got beat by like 50 against Purdue. So they were kind of supposed to be a team that was supposed to be really competitive. And
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it was just one of those, off nights I didn't watch the game, but that definitely stood out there. Their KenPom rankings really tanked this week. Well, Anthony, it's been such an honor to have you on. We really appreciate you joining us and taking the time out of your schedule. And we're really looking forward to you calling games this year. And any final thoughts or anything else you want to hype before you get out of here?
No, man. I appreciate you guys having me on. If y'all ever need a guest co-host, or if y'all ever need any more have any more questions, like I said, I'm always willing to jump on. And it's just fun, like I said, being back at Liberty, and just it's a family. So everybody at Liberty is part of my extended family. Put it that way.
All right. Well, fantastic. Well, thanks again. We're going to play a quick video. I have no idea what this video is. Our guy, Chad Hassan, made us watch this, and we have to react. Anthony, you have a great night, and then we'll be back here in just a second.
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks,
All right. Thank you.
Every time you touch me, I can't control my body. Oh, baby, you are on my mind. All I think about, and I don't want to stop.
Am I wrong?
Chad Hassan pulled up tweets from 2014. Like, what kind of dirt does this guy have on all of us? I mean,
But was I wrong?
no, you weren't wrong. You weren't wrong. I agree. Mount Rushmore, I support it all. Man, I wish we could have watched Anthony, play with like Caleb Holmesley and some of these teams.
Yeah.
He would have fit so well.
Oh my goodness.
He was such like a dynamic player and scorer, but he also like really had such a great like team concept, and he would have fit so well in like the system that Richie has, especially Richie 2.0. Oh
Yeah,
man.
It seemed like a lot of some of those years, like Anthony was like the smartest guy on the floor too. Like he had the highest basketball IQ. I'm just hoping Chad doesn't go back and dig up any older tweets than that.
Our man,
There's probably some I'm not proud of.
our man is a menace. Well, yeah, well done, Chad. Finding that 2014. That's next level. All right. Well, very good. Well, you know what time? Well, what time is it?
It's long shots time, baby. I love that intro video. That was me covering it up there.
I had a nice one of those Liquid Death cans of water at Wake Forest. They sell those over there these days.
Well, Mr. Longshots, you had quite the week picking college basketball. It appears this might be your gift and not football picks. Are you ready to retire from college football and just be a full-time college basketball picker?
I thought about it. I'm too close to 500 though. I think I gotta look. I think I'm 26 and 29. Like I'm a perfect week away from being 500. Like it's within striking distance. If I had John's record, yeah, I'd be retired. Because
you're about to get over that hump in football, I feel.
I'm getting there, and I lost a couple games this week. The Liberty over under that was doomed from the under that was doomed from the start. But I'm so close, and I know I'm just there, and it'd be a great weekend for me to do it. Being down there at the basketball game at Southern Miss, and then the game on Saturday. But 8-3, it's pretty good.
I feel like you're always 1 week away from breaking even. I feel like that should have a
one bet away
1-800 gambler helpline.
Yeah. That should be the tagline. Yeah. Well, just remember, you're one bet away from even. Are you sure you want to complete this call?
So, anyways, a very, very impressive week from Richie Longshots, 8-3. I think I did the math, and if we actually, if we don't get canceled by the end of the year, which there's probably a good line on that. We're probably like plus 250 at getting canceled. I think we're like 198 games is what we'd pick if we do this every week. So John's got plenty of time to catch up. John, in the group chat, he was sure to give out all the excuses about how he's like, going all the way around across the country, covering a football team, making picks at the rest stop, at a funeral, all kinds of stuff. It's really something else. One bad week, John. Let's not torch the whole system here.
Maybe I'm thinking the end of the year. Also, we should do a prize. We should do some sort of trophy. Name it something. Name it after a former player. Get some sort of something. But maybe we kind of do it like in college, where your worst test grade gets thrown out. You have like that wild card week where you're like, not for me.
You're gonna have to start like an Excel spreadsheet if we're going that deep. I mean,
yeah, that's true. I'm not. I'm no Excel wizard.
I'm just gonna keep adding, and that's probably good enough. I kind of like the idea of whoever finishes worse having to do something really embarrassing.
Yeah, in my fantasy soccer league, whoever comes in last has to go to an Amy Schumer concert completely sober, no cell phone, by themselves. Amy Schumer concert.
Okay, that's third level of hell stuff right there. Maybe Chad will just dig up some old tweets and air them for everybody.
Oh,
yeah.
He's already in the lab right now. All right. Well, let's look ahead to this week. If you want to win some money, follow Long Shots. That's what we're going with here. Here's our 11 games. Real quick, me and Chad only picked 2 of the same games, which, I mean, what are the chances of 11 games and only, like, we didn't compare notes or anything. He had no idea what his picks were. I had already put mine in before he sent me his. Long Shots, what's the odds on that?
So coin flip, so 50-50 chance of picking the same one. So 1 out of 2 times 11. 11 times 1 out of 22, 2 out of 20. I'd go with like 5%, maybe, if the odds reset each time. I'm gonna go 5%.
All right, yeah. So, anyways, let's get through these games, and either one of us, me or Chad, are gonna have a great week, and the other one's gonna have a miserable week. So that's something to watch, folks. All right. Belmont at Lipscomb. I cannot believe Chad picked Lipscomb with a 1-point spread in this game. This is maybe like the most confident game I'm in. I love Belmont in this matchup.
Yeah, I've always been a Belmont fan. I remember they were in the dance 2019, the same year we were, and I remember that offense. I feel like every year they just have an offense that's going to score points and give me points this early in the season. I know a team's going to score points. Give me them.
Yeah. All right. We were completely split on this. Liberty, NC Central. Let's just go through both Liberty games now, because that's kind of how I picked. I feel like these lines should be switched, and they very well might be. Remember, these are Ken Palm lines. These aren't set in stone. This was actually as of Saturday morning, because I can't send these out and then change it. So some of these lines could have actually even changed a tiny bit in Ken Palm. I feel like these lines should be switched, which is why you see my picks while I picked Liberty tomorrow to cover and not. I definitely think Southern Miss is a much better team, and then I like the more points. Is that kind of, although you had it, you have, we did it the same way. Is that what your thinking was too?
No, I think Southern Miss, and I haven't done a deep dive into Southern Miss. I just don't know. Are we going to beat any other like mid-major? I'm calling NC Central low major. They're the team that beat us in 2013, right?
No,
Is that
that's
same
A&T.
A&T? There's too many North Carolina schools, just way too confusing. I think Southern Miss is a mid-major. I can't imagine us beating any other team like right now by that many points. So that worries me. I'm going to be at the game, and I would love nothing more than for Liberty to blow the doors off of them. But I just think, a team like NC Central, low major, should win. The arena's going to be rocking. It's a get right game, and then Southern Miss kind of like that. All right, not a trap game, but we got a big trip coming up. Maybe take the brakes. Take the foot off the gas late in the game, and Southern Miss. Yeah, that's a lot of points. It's a lot of points, and I know it's similar to the NC Central game, but I think Southern Miss is just naturally going to have better players on their roster than NC Central.
Yeah, and there actually is a line out for this game. It's actually 12.5, so they went pretty much right with Ken Palm on this. So
Vegas can be lazy sometimes when it comes to the low to mid-major games. They don't know as much as we do. Which comes in like you might think it's a joke if you follow. I remember we were in the Big South when it came time for conference tournament. I knew more than Vegas did when it came to the conference tournament, and I remember like they don't know what they're talking about when it comes to these lines. And there's a ton of value when you're tracking this and you're looking at these games now and you're seeing which teams are showing up, and you keep that in the back of your mind. I distinctly remember in 2008. Davidson played UNC super close in the beginning of the year. And I went, Davidson, I'm going to remember that team. And when I filled out my bracket, junior year of high school, I was like, yeah, I'll let Davidson maybe win a game or two. And we all know what happened there. So this is a really good opportunity at the beginning of the season to see, all right, which teams are going to be contending with some of these Power 5 schools, which teams are going to be, playing well that you can keep track of and follow along as the season goes on. Because when it comes to conference tournament time or, the first round of the NCAA tournament, there's going to be value because Vegas is just going to jump to that Ken Palm line. They're not going to know kind of, a little bit behind the number and what went into that.
Yeah, totally agree. And I think I was on some school called Lindenwood today in real money. So yeah, you gotta go. They didn't cover, believe it or not. Yeah,
right. That was Missouri, right?
Yeah, I don't even know what the final was in that, but they did not cover. Had a great weekend overall, but Lindenwood didn't help. All right, Duke, Kansas. This is another one we're completely split on. Kansas -1. I look at this and I go coaching and I just go John Shire against Bill Self. Am I really going to take John Shire, who I think is going to probably do great things at Duke, but in his second week of the season? Is that where you were at, or were you a little different?
I still hate Duke. Nothing's changed. You'll never see Duke next to under my name. They could play anybody and I'm going to take. Doesn't matter. Completely irrelevant. Coastal, give me the Beach Chickens. Old Dominion, give me the Monarchs. But no, play some. I do think Kansas wins the game. I mean, I'll take my bias out of it, but Kansas veteran team. They just won the Natty. And I don't think they lost a ton of people either. It wasn't like a mass exodus type thing. So yeah, no, give me Kansas.
Chad in our chat did say Bill Self is suspended. But I'll take.
What did he do? What did he do again? Was this a cheating situation, or did he get a DUI, or is it
4 games? 4 games for infractions.
How do you get suspended in 2022 as an NCAA football coach?
This was
what did you do?
This was from pre. He would not. He would not be suspended now. So
I was gonna say this is a pre NIL situation.
Yeah, I'll still take him game planning this game and whoever is assistant.
Yeah, you don't think he's got a mic in the assistant's ear don't do this, do that.
Bobby Valentine in the dugout.
All right, well we're right with there. That's gonna be a fun one to watch. I'm really excited about that. Yeah. I believe that's part of the Champions Classic.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's a standalone game, right?
Yeah.
a couple games. I know it's the only game we have on Tuesday, so no, it's definitely a must watch.
All right, next game, Gonzaga, Texas. I'm the only one who is on the Zags. Everyone else faded them after a disappointing 1-point win on a aircraft carrier. What? Were we really not taking Gonzaga this early in the season as an underdog? The Texas?
Texas at home. Give me Texas at home. Gonzaga? It's Gonzaga. I mean, I get tricked into them every year. And I know I took Gonzaga. You go under. I took Gonzaga, but that's the Gonzaga's now at home. So I traveling down to Texas, that arena is going to be rocking. Smart's a good coach.
Yeah, the 4 points. I mean, if it was a pick 'em, okay, yeah, maybe. 4 points. Ooh, that's wild. All right, the next game. This is there's no way this line.
No, if this line is 25, it's all bet in the house. They're gonna have to make phone calls and be like, I think this guy knows something, because there's no way they just lost to Colorado today. There's no way.
They got waxed by Colorado today.
Colorado, there's no way this line's 25.
Colorado, who just lost to Grambling State before that. So, I mean, this was, this is one of those, we have to put this in because it's an ASUN game, but we know the line's not going to be. I think I'll be interested to see maybe kind of what Kim Palm's updated with some of these numbers. I'm probably going to ride Florida Gulf Coast, maybe down. If it's like a higher than 16, I'm probably riding with Dunk City.
I think anything double digits.
I don't know, 11, 12. I mean, it's still, Tennessee was like 11th in the country, and it's at home. It's a true home game. But
there's beginning of the season's hosh posh. Once they got on the court, though, that was a bad loss today.
I'm going to say 16 would be my number. What's you're saying 10?
I'll take 11. Okay. 10 or 11.
Will, you got a number? I know you're not legally allowed to bet.
Yeah, I was thinking more like around 12, 13 line.
Okay, you splitting the difference.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, next, Baylor, Virginia. I mean, this just felt like this is a neutral game. Like Baylor getting a point. Like, I think Baylor's, I think, my preseason national champion going into the year after they just destroyed my Delta Devils on opening afternoon. I feel like this was obvious, and the whole board took Baylor.
Yeah, it was. I watched that. I took on our show. I took the Delta Devils, and then I read things before the, and I saw the line went from like 38, 39, 40, and it was moving rapidly. And I went, I gotta bet Baylor minus 40. Like, if the whole world is doing it, like it's for a reason. So I ended up making money on the game. I lost it here, but I ended up making money on it. But no, Baylor looked very good. Yeah, they were playing one of the worst Division I teams, but they looked really good. They had a lot of players that were able to do it inside and out. They were super athletic around the rim, and I went, ooh. Like, I know North Carolina's number one. I'm a Carolina guy, but I went, it's a pretty good team. Like, they looked the part. They were able to do it both sides. Like I said, inside and out, and they look good.
Yeah. Yeah, I went with the sucker, went with the Delta Devils. I couldn't live with myself if I, bet on a team to cover a 40-point spread to start the year. And one of my buddies was sending me pictures of every Delta's Devils roster, their profile pictures, and as they're down like 60, and it was painful. It was painful.
There was like kids there too. It was like take a field trip to Baylor's arena, like, because the game was at noon. So all the schools in the area, there's like kids in the. It was just it looked like a Harlem Globetrotters game at the end of the second half. Like, just it got ugly.
All right, next game, Indiana at Xavier. I grew up in Cincinnati. I root for the Muskies when they're not playing Liberty, which they've never played. Chad, I guarantee you only picked Indiana just to be that guy.
Chad loves nothing more than to root for people's like second favorite teams.
Yeah.
Like, he'll just be like, how about those Rutgers Scarlet Knights? I'm like, yeah, I'm aware, Chad. We lost to Michigan by 60. Thank you.
Richie, though, you went to Rutgers, right?
Yeah.
Kirby, did you go to Xavier?
No, I went to Liberty, which is why I'm
Oh,
doing a
okay.
Liberty
I'm
podcast.
just checking.
I
I'm
also
just
went to
checking on
Liberty.
that.
I put in
Yeah,
a blog
yeah.
that I graduated
Hey.
from Liberty, and people were floored. Like I just showed up, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm gonna
No.
root for this Liberty team. Like, no, I actually went there, people.
You're an alumni of 2
Yeah.
institutions. Completely acceptable.
Yeah.
But if you only have one, then you should have one allegiance. I'll jump off my soapbox and put on mute.
Yeah, we're not putting any more Xavier games on the docket the rest of the year. They could be number 1 in the country. Nope.
They're one of those teams that always just finds a way to screw me, though, when I bet on them. Like, weird things happen the moment. Like, when they get that Saturday noon game, like, I'm always like, ooh, yeah, I got a good feeling about Xavier. Bad. And then if I fade Xavier, they win. So it really is. If you're watching this and you see me take Xavier, hammer Indiana, because I never can get Xavier right, ever.
I never bet on a team that I have any interest in, so I would never actually bet on this game or Liberty. I just at home getting 2 points. Sean Miller, they got that effect. All right, we already touched on the Southern Miss. I really wish Chad would come on and explain why he went the opposite of us. Is it just a menace? Like he picks Liberty in this game, but not in the NC Central game.
Get him in it. What's he doing? What's he doing?
No, I think his mullet's not looking fresh tonight, so I think we can't bring him in tonight.
My plan though, since I'm going to be at the game, I'm just going to bet the over, and you're just going to see me on ESPN Plus and a Darius McGee shirt, hopefully just dancing my way to the over.
I love it. I hope the cameras find you. I'm going to put in every word I have, which is nothing, but yeah.
I got quick side story. I got picked to run they're like, all right, if you can dribble the ball length of the court in under 5 seconds and make a shot, free Chick-fil-A gift card. I was the most confident person in the world. I ran back to my dorm. I got my LeBrons. I was ready to roll. The girl next to me, it was like me and another girl. I was like, hey, if I make this, like, save your gift card. We'll go. I'll take you to Chick-fil-A with my gift card. Like, we had a date set up. I missed the layup. Whole place just went, oh, it was the most deflating moment of my life. So I'm a little worried that I'm going to be that close to the court after the whole incident of 2010.
Yeah, now that you brought that up, we got to get you doing a contest.
Yeah,
absolutely. Half court.
What could go wrong?
I would have seen you shooting a half court shot for a car or something.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I'm in. Yeah, even for a Chick-fil-A gift card, a little redemption.
I love it. All right, Jacksonville State at Alabama. I am the only one that took Jacksonville State. I feel like this is such a sucker taking Alabama. I think we just saw them roll Liberty. You're like, we have these expectations now. 23 points against a team that was in the dance last year. I don't know about that.
Mickey Mouse dance.
They definitely were the Mickey Mouse dancers.
I'm a sucker. You look up in the dictionary, you're going to see a picture of me like, oh, that team was really good last game. They're going to be good again. No, big time. I'm a sucker. And now that I'm actually saying the words out loud, I don't think Alabama is going to shoot as well as they did. They're not going to ball out like that. So, and I don't know who they play next after Jacksonville State, but 23 is a lot. Now that I think about it, depending on what the line is, I might actually sprinkle Jacksonville State when this game, is live on Friday. But probably not, because I'm going to be at the Liberty game, and I'm not going to bet on that game and not watch it. So
I think they play like South Alabama or something like that. I think I saw earlier today.
Oh, so they're just going cupcakes until December.
I mean, it's exactly what Coach McKay basically said that teams are doing right now. But yeah, obviously, I think Nick said I'm not legally allowed to gamble on these games, but I like that Alabama line. I'm with you, Richie.
Oh, there we go.
I will give Alabama credit. I actually don't think they did the whole cupcake schedule. Longwood, Liberty, South Dakota State is really good. I think they're picked to win the Summit.
Yeah.
Jacksonville State was, a team that was good last year. And then they got like Houston, Memphis, Gonzaga, which doesn't really fall in that category, but they did actually schedule a good schedule
in a little bit. But they don't have like they don't have a banger to start the season.
Their worst teams Jackson State at 304 and Ken Palm. So they're not really playing any of the absolute bottom feeders. So.
Like the 350s, the 340s.
So let's give credit where it's due. Alabama NATO, they deserve some credit for.
I like
actually. I do too. He's a fun coach. Yeah. I didn't like him Friday when but whatever.
He is the poor man's Charles Billingsley.
I can see it. He's got like the plaid blazer on and little pocket square. It's a good comparison.
All right. Bellarmine Clemson. I'll be completely honest. I picked Clemson just to be a jerk. I knew everyone was going to ride Bellarmine. I was like, yeah, I want to be the guy that doesn't. I want to be the guy that gets this right. I faded Bellarmine. I think that Louisville win, it was a nice win, great for the conference, good for them, good for their program, but I don't think it's going to mean they're good this year by any stretch. Louisville lost their next game too.
Yeah, like Louisville might actually be one of the worst Power 5 teams so far in college basketball. So it's like, all right, what are they going to do when they play a decent team like Clemson? It's just too many points. This is another one. I don't think the spread's going to be 14. I think people are going to jump on Bellarmine. The line's going to end up being 10, maybe even single digits, just because of the people betting on it, and the books don't want to be without liability.
Well, I'm really jumping on that then. Yeah, I love that if that gets down to like 10. All right, then the final game. This is a incredible game. Kentucky at Gonzaga. This is a true road game. Zags are a 1-point favorite. I've already told you my belief in Gonzaga. Kentucky's 1 in Ken Palm. Gonzaga's 3 in Ken Palm. So this is as good of a matchup as you'll see. Kentucky's got a young team on the road at Gonzaga, which is an insane atmosphere. Kentucky might be the best team in the country. I trust Ken Palm. I just don't think they're going to win this game.
I agree. For them to go out west, probably a late start. I mean, won't be that big of a deal. Oh, it's a Sunday game. Wow. Sunday game, a lot of travel to go from Kentucky out to Gonzaga. Like you said, place is going to be rocking. They're playing a senior, an old team. Kentucky's littered with freshmen, not freshmen. I know they have some of the transfer portal, but new to Kentucky players that are going to be playing in a big time atmosphere like that. So give me Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga, this is their get right game after losing to Texas, and they make that statement of, all right, we're still Gonzaga. We're gonna have our shot.
Yeah, 7:30 tip on a Sunday night. That's fun. I love that.
We're going to be watching the end of that game next Sunday.
Oh yeah. I might actually have to. I usually turn off my TVs during the show. I might have to kind of keep that on. I don't know what we're going to do next week, because next week's going to be the conference tournament. So we're just going to be picking a whole bunch of opening round games. Should we do maybe something like pick a couple of the tournaments? Yeah,
maybe pick some tournament winners like that.
We'll discuss with the council and make sure that's within the rules, because I don't want to be I don't want to be accused of making the rules and skewing them in my favor. So we'll talk to the council. Maybe we'll pick like the 4 tournaments and make those 4 games and see if we can get any W's in there, or maybe some bonus points. I don't know.
I like bonus points.
Yeah,
we can count wins as points, and we can get weird with it.
All right, well, we'll talk to the council. We'll get back to you guys on that. Mr. Longshots, just an absolute pleasure as always. Any final thoughts?
Thank you guys for having me. No, I'm looking forward to going down. I've been to 2 Liberty basketball games since I graduated. I went to a conference NJIT game up in Newark. That was an experience. And I was at the ASON championship game in 2020. So super excited to check out the Liberty Arena for the first time. And see this team live. My dad's coming down. My dad loves Liberty basketball. He watches more basketball games than football games. He's always he loved the 1920 teams. Like always talks about. He's like, that number 0. That number's like, never knows. Only knows a couple names, but it always is like, yeah, number. And just it's cool that to bring him. We're gonna have good seats. And to check that out, check out the new arena. Crowd's going to be rocking. It's a Friday night, so looking forward to that. And thank you guys. I've learned so much more about the basketball team from listening to you two, and definitely more invested this year because of that. So thank you for having me on, and thank you for everything that you all do.
My man. Well, if you see Long Shots on Friday night, if you're there, buy him a Kool-Aid. Yep. Nothing more than that. He doesn't need popcorn or anything. Just a Kool-Aid, and
They got an Annie Ann's in there. I know they got one at the football stadium. They got an Annie Ann's in the Liberty Arena.
I haven't actually not been to the Liberty Arena, so I couldn't tell you.
I haven't either. I'm hoping to get down this year. It is a long way from Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
With kids, but yeah.
Fingers crossed. All right, thank you guys as always.
All right, thanks, Richie. All right, so that's it. Will, do you have any incredible final thoughts of wisdom for us tonight?
Oh man, let's just turn the page on last week. Disappointing football loss to UConn. Alabama loss probably wasn't as disappointing. But let's turn the page, get 2 good out of conference wins this week, and then beat Virginia Tech at home, which will be awesome. So we're looking forward to this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait for tomorrow night's game. Hopefully the boys come out and just, I'd love to see them just win by like 30 and just really put all of our minds at ease and get us feeling good about this team. And I still feel good about this team. I'm not going to, put too much out of one game, and it happens.
It's too early, and Alabama is probably, I know we play some good teams in Northwestern and play in Cancun, but Alabama's probably the best team we're going to see all year.
Oh yeah, no, and a true road game too.
Yep.
This isn't playing in Cancun or in front of 500 people. This is a legit road game with dudes with their hard hats on, and whole shebang.
And I trust Richie, so let's go.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. It's so much fun doing the show every week. Thanks to A Sea of Red for keeping us on the airwaves for another week. We'll see how long this continues to ride out. If you haven't, make sure you go on YouTube, subscribe to A Sea of Red, like tonight's show. A Sea of Red has been posting all of the post-game interviews from Richie, from some of the players, from Coach Freeze. This is the place. A Sea of Red is the place for Liberty content. So make sure you're dialed in, and we'll continue to keep rooting on the Flames. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you.